I had a bad night. I had a bad night. And the fact of the matter is that, I screwed up. I made a mistake. That's 90 minutes on stage. Look at what I've done in 3.5 years.
An honest and forthcoming moment there with President Biden. That was his first radio interview since the debate happened just a little while ago. He is heading into a crucial weekend, though, for his campaign. Right now, he and his team still scrambling to salvage his reelection campaign. The administration adamant, and so is the president, he is staying in this race. His campaign also sent a fundraising email out saying, I am the Democratic nominee. No one's pushing me out. I'm not leaving. I am in the race until the end, and we are going to win the election. All of this coming as we've got a new DDHQ poll shows 80% of registered voters are concerned with the president's cognitive health following the debate. And Biden is facing calls still from within his own party to drop out. The president will be campaigning in Wisconsin tomorrow. That's a battleground state. And we have now learned Wisconsin Senator Tammy Baldwin will not be joining President Biden there. There is also a highly anticipated primetime TV interview that could play a pivotal role in whether Biden remains in the race. That's happening tomorrow. Republican strategist Whitley Yates is with us now. Also here, Democratic strategist Michael Starr Hopkins, founder of North Star Strategies. Michael, I want to start with you. How impactful are these Democratic governors who met face-to-face with President Biden in help squashing some of the concern that the American public feels post-debate?
I think it was a good TV moment, but it has done nothing to really assuage the fears of Americans all around the country. Look, I support Joe Biden. I have a lot of friends that work on that campaign. And at the end of the day, if he's the nominee, I'll vote for him. But if I was talking to the president, I would say directly to him, you have served a great first term. You've brought us back from the brink of disaster. But what are you really willing to risk when it comes to the rest of Americans' lives? Are you willing to risk, an abortion ban, the repeal of the civil rights bill, all because you think you can win?
Whitley, let me bring you in here, or Whitley, excuse me, let me bring you in here. What strategy would be a successful one for Donald Trump to seize this moment, build on the momentum that he is experiencing right now?
It's really interesting because I think that they're running two very different races. Where former President Trump can rely on what he did while he was in office, he is running to restore, while Biden actually has to run to prove a point, and he's running to prove to the American people that he has the mental acuity to lead us in the next 4 years. And I'm just concerned because, to be honest, a lot of the American people had these concerns prior to the debate, and the debate highlighted. He didn't just stumble, he face planted. And now when you have calls from inside your own party to leave, why should the American people trust you if your own team and those that are on your side don't even trust you to lead in the campaign? I'm not sure if you can lead the country.
There are concerns, though, to be fair, Whitley, about former President Trump being back in the White House. How does his campaign address half of America who aren't happy that he's on the ticket as well, and that these are the two options as we stand?
It's interesting. I think the Trump campaign thrives on people being afraid of what he's going to do while he's back in leadership. And I don't think that this is something that they will even address. Right now, what the Trump campaign is doing that they hadn't done before is that they're not necessarily using surrogates to go out in these communities, but you're seeing Trump go and connect with people directly. And so I think that what he's going to do is shatter the stereotypes and the misconceptions that people are cultivating by going directly to the sources and directly to the community, specifically underrepresented and marginalized communities.
Michael, what needs to happen in this interview on ABC? The first time the president will directly address, aside from that radio interview there, his debate performance and, more importantly, building confidence in the American public.
I got to be honest, I don't think there's anything that the president can do in that conversation with Stephanopoulos to really assure the American people, because there were concerns prior to the debate, and his team consistently said, he's okay, he's okay. We saw what we saw at the debate. And his team then continued to gaslight a lot of Democrats and tell them what you saw is not indicative of the president's health. Look, let me say this. Donald Trump is an existential threat to our democracy as we celebrate the 4th of July and the sacrifice that so many Americans have made. the idea that he would return to the White House is anathema to everything our founders have fought for. And so the Biden campaign and Joe Biden himself really just needs to think about what risk he's putting our country at by continuing to run. If he's the nominee, Democrats are going to vote for him because we understand what a threat Donald Trump is. But we need to put a candidate who can run a strong race and make the case for why Democrats up and down the ticket are the right choice.
Let me ask you, Michael, just to follow up on that point. Can two things be true at the same time here, that the president and his team come out and say he is in this race to win it, he's not going anywhere, while at the same time having conversations, we've got to come up with a backup, and at any point between now and November or the convention, we see that shift?
Absolutely. I wrote a column about that for The Hill. We should be having conversations about what is the backup plan, because frankly, for the next 4 months, everything is going to be about Joe Biden's health. Every step, every misstatement is going to be overly examined. Now, the same isn't happening with Donald Trump, and that's something that Democrats are really going to have to battle with. And it's why we need to have those conversations about what the backup plan is, because at a certain point, the entire race cannot be about Joe Biden and his health. It needs to be about Project 2025 and what Republicans want to take away from Americans, about an abortion ban, about the multiple bankruptcies that Donald Trump had. As long as we're talking about Joe Biden's health, we're not talking about what a failure and what a morally reprehensible person Donald Trump is.
Whitley, I want to give you a chance to respond to that and criticism that the former president is an existential threat. How are Republicans responding to that, and how does the former president meet that head on?
You know, no matter what people say, no matter the fear mongering that continues to happen from the left, what you're seeing in the Trump campaign is a momentum unlike any that this nation has ever seen. He's been able to fundraise post-conviction numbers no one has ever seen. So he's meeting the momentum each and every day with this campaign. And the more cognitive issues that Biden continues to have, the more support will grow for former President Trump. What Biden needs to do to instill confidence in the American people is to have confidence in his cognition. He must be able to represent himself, his ideas articulately, and people need to believe that he understands where he is and that he is the person that is going to be able to lead America into the next 4 years and beyond through policies. And that confidence will come, honestly, with the cognition and how he carries himself, not only in the media, but throughout the rest of this campaign.
And support him or not, he is a force to be reckoned with, and he has his supporters and has assured that he has the base that he needs. Outside of that, Whitley, who might he choose as a vice presidential running mate, and how critical might that be given the closeness of this election?
It is going to be very critical who former President Trump chooses as his running mate, considering what happened with former VP Mike Pence and how that situation deteriorated. His number two is either going to instill confidence in any doubters or those people who may be confused or disenchanted with his style of leadership. So what he needs to do is really just choose someone that is more balanced, that is less triggering, someone that can engage without enraging, and really just be a calm foundation for him, because Trump is larger than life in all ways. And so what we kind of need in a VP is someone that balances that. I mean, Ben Carson has been thrown out. Congressman Byron Donalds has been thrown out. There have been a lot of different names of people that have been listed, and it'll be very interesting to see who he chooses, and that will be indicative of the direction that Trump plans to take America in.
Michael, who would Democrats not like to see former President Trump pick for a VP?
I think the person who would give Democrats the toughest time would be Nikki Haley, but Donald Trump's too stupid to pick Nikki Haley. He's too much in his ego and won't allow himself to. So he'll likely pick Doug Burnham or try to tokenize his race and put in Byron Donalds, who thinks we were better under Jim Crow, or Ben Carson, who he mocked through his entire campaign. Honestly, Democrats aren't afraid of who we're going to run against when it comes to Donald Trump, because Donald Trump, like Whitley said, is such a big figure. I mean, he's a person who tried to have his VP killed. So honestly, I don't know who would want to be his VP. But at this point, Democrats are unified around the notion that Donald Trump cannot be our next president. And so whatever we need to do to ensure that is what Democrats are going to do.
Whitley Yates, Michael Starr Hopkins, thank you both for being with us. I know carving out some time on a holiday can be difficult. We appreciate you both being here. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.